Hello everyone, my name is Kyle Herkert, and today I'd like to talk to you about forecasts and supplements in the investment management process inside of Agamemnon Invest. On the agenda today, we'll be looking at a general overview of Agamemnon Invest's investment process, as well as taking some time to look at some challenges that occur inside of this, as well as the solutions that Agamemnon Invest provides for these challenges. Finally, we'll end the video with a demo of adding and authorizing a supplement in a previously approved investment. Our investment starts with the board giving a strategic plan to all investment and project managers. This strategic plan is then used by the project managers to create their budget plans. The board then reviews these budgets and can either authorize, reject, or send them back for revision. However, once a budget has been approved, that is the end of life cycle of the budget planning. After they've been authorized, they enter into the implementation stage. Here, the project managers, using the budget planning that was decided upon, begin to implement their projects. And like the budget planning process, these realizations are sent to the board for authorization, rejection, or for revision. Once the investment realization has been created, it then enters into the forecast. The forecast is, of course, used by the board and project managers to create reports and see general trends and be able to make better future decisions based on the data they've been able to collect. And today we'll be focusing on the realization and the approval and reapproval of investment plans inside of this process with a quantitative qualitative assessment as well as the approval process for a supplement. So let's talk about some of the challenges that occur in the forecast and supplement process. First, looking at the forecast side. We have responsibility for the forecast. There's also a requirement for an aggregated forecast, and the information has to be detailed enough to make informed decisions. Project delays also have a lot of side effects. A delay of a project can not only affect the delay of another project, but can even lead to a domino effect, where when a delay is not known fast enough, other investments can't be adjusted in time. This can also lead to issues with the depreciation calculation. There's also a need for a basis for comparison. And so it's important that we know what we actually want to compare against. Do we compare forecast with last year's budget? Do we compare forecast to what last year's investment plan was? Or do we compare the forecast with something else entirely? And of course, there's always the unknown and unplanned projects that pop up. On the supplementary process side of things, there's the decision threshold. We have the decision threshold, aka when am I allowed or when can I start a supplement? There's the topic with revision and new approval. There's also comprehensibility. How can we track and make sure that the investment we're approving is a supplement and not just an adjusted investment? How do we make this clear in reports later? One also has to allow minor adjustments to the projects, not just the key figures. And all of these topics are solved in Agamemnon Invest. The responsibility for the forecast is a direct responsibility via the project leader. Agamemnon Invest maps the impacts of project delays, allowing users to be able to react efficiently. We always compare the last rolling plan against the forecast directly in the investment page. This means for every year we have a new comparison basis that shows the reality of the project, and unplanned projects can simply be created during the investment process and will be recorded as such for later reporting. Agamemnon Invest also allows the decision threshold to be user-defined. It can be anything between a specific amount or a percentage value. It allows the editing and reapproval of the supplement in a streamlined function. It's clear immediately when looking at an investment with a supplement that a supplement has either been started, approved, or rejected. And when we look at how the forecast is built in Agamemnon Invest, we see it's a multi-stage forecast containing the following: planned projects which are not approved, unplanned projects which are not approved, approved projects, and approved projects with adjustments. Here, we can see the process of the supplementary in the workflow, from realization to approval and being included into the forecast, back to being realized, approved, and so etc., etc. Normal investments can also be adjusted, but the decision threshold for the supplements are what we use to determine if the project leader is required to create a supplement or just simply increase their given budget for the year. When this threshold occurs is completely customizable. And now I'd like to show you a live demo of how we create a supplement on an already approved investment in Agamemnon Invest, and how we send the supplementary again through the approval process so it's once again approved. And here we are inside of Agamemnon Invest. We're currently in a form that was created for an eco-friendly IT server. And let's say theoretically the price of the server has gone up, or we just incorrectly gave the wrong amount of our forecast value. So what we'll do here is we'll go to our forecast section, and our budget for 2025 is 10,000 euros. But let's say this wasn't enough and we have to increase this to 20,000. Now that that's been changed, we simply have to click on the Start Supplementary button. And as we can see here in our budget status, it's showing us a comparison of our CAPEX, our forecast versus our rolling plan, as well as our total forecast and rolling plan. And if we scroll up here to our details, we see that our current status has now changed to supplement. Next, we'll go ahead to our central controlling view and refresh the page. One thing to notice in Agamemnon Invest is that we do not create a second investment entry for the supplementary. It stays in the exact same entry that was saved the first time. The information is just expanded inside of the entry. What this means is that for the central and local controllers, they will have to make sure that the approvers are no longer there for the previous investment, as a supplementary does technically count as a new investment on the old investment. So what they'll need to do is they will have to add a comment. And then in the top right-hand corner, they will have to unlock the supplementary. Oh, this is my mistake. I forgot to add my comment here. And then we can send it. Excellent. And here we see that the approvers have now been reset. So we'll go ahead and enter into our approver view. And we'll see it's been popped up. And because I am the approver on all three levels, I will have to approve this 3 times. Success. We have successfully added a supplement into a previous created investment entry. And just to confirm, we can come back into our central controller view and take a look. And we see here we have a status of approved. We have all of our approvers. And if we wanted to, we could go back to the product manager view and we could add a second supplementary or a third supplementary or a fourth or a fifth. And this process can continue. This was the live demo of how to add a supplement into an Agamemnon Invest entry. Thanks for listening today. You can find the slides and the presentation tomorrow at ivsolution.com/academy/webinar-Aufzeichnungen. Our upcoming webinar will be tackling financial accounting with the public cloud. You can sign up for any future webinar via ivsolution.com/academy/webinar. And don't forget, we have a YouTube channel. Feel free to subscribe. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a great day.